Hi, I'm Alex from Vasari Lime Plaster and Paint, and I'm going to show you how to apply our lime paint in the color Gold Blush. So what you need is a brush like this, a primed board, and our lime paint. Now, lime paint is synonymous with lime wash. We make ours pretty thick, so you could have a lot more versatility with it. If you thin it down with water, it turns into a lime wash. But this is a very natural, authentic lime paint. Very lime rich, as you can imagine. It's dark when it's wet, but when it dries, it'll be much lighter. So we use our brush like this, and you can see it's pretty thick right now, but if you agitate it a touch, it thins out and you could use it. So all of our materials are applied usually in at least 2 coats. We're gonna do this one in 2 coats. So we're gonna do the first coat, let that dry, and then do the second coat, and pretty much done after that. So I start doing the first coat. I try to put it on a little bit on the thicker side, especially on the first coat. I really want to cover up the primer. There's no particular method of doing it. I'm just covering up blank spots. One thing I usually try to avoid is putting it on just up and down or side to side and having that type of linear stroke. I'm usually looking for just a nice organic movement of the brush strokes. I'm not doing anything particularly artistic with it. I'm just filling in blank spots in random directions. Afterwards, I come back and try to smooth out any thicker brush strokes. Any texture on the first coat is going to come through on the second coat a little bit. So ideally, you want to have it pretty nice and natural looking. So that's our first coat, pretty simple. You can also apply the first coat with a roller. You can even trowel it on to some extent. And you can also spray it with a regular airless sprayer. So, but doing it with a brush and see how it turns out. It's going to dry much lighter, and we'll be back for the second coat. All right, so our first coat is completely dry. You'll see that it dries much, much lighter than it is when it was wet, about 75% lighter. We're going to do a second coat, and here we go. So same thing like the first coat. Put a little bit at the end of your brush here, like so. And what you want to do is basically the same thing as the first coat. You're just filling up blank spaces in whichever direction you feel comfortable in. Try to keep a wet edge if you can on the second coat when you're doing a larger scale, obviously. You'll see when we start brushing it, it starts drying up pretty quickly because the first coat's absorbing it. And what we're going to do is apply it and let it set up a little bit, and then come back with the same brush and just buff it down a little bit. And the buffing process, what that's going to give you is a nicer, smoother surface. And also it'll give you that nice variation of color and modeling that is so prevalent in lime paints and lime plasters. So here we go with the second coat. Also with the second coat, you could thin it down with water, make it more into a wash. And it makes it a little bit more translucent. Sometimes a little easier, faster to apply. And like I said, when you thin this down, it turns into a lime wash. And when you have nice translucency in the layers, you can see some of the colors underneath if you're using multiple colors. We want to come back, take away any heavy brush strokes if you want. So it's been about a minute or 2, and most of it's pretty dry. It's almost like a clay-like consistency. You don't want to get too dry, but right when it's about like a kind of clay-like dampness, you can come back with the same brush and just buff it down a little bit gently. You don't have to go too hard. That's pretty much it. We'll wait for this to dry and see what the finished result is. So the second coat is completely dry. Here's the result. Really lovely color called Gold Blush. It's kind of a golden coral or corally gold. Just a nice warm golden tan color. Has a nice bit of variation running through it. I could see some of the brush strokes, some of the texture from underneath. But in general, beautiful sample. Totally odorless when it dries. And I think you'll love it. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it, learned something. For more information, check out vasariplaster.com, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much.